evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which I watch Gen Z become Generation We. I had no plan for that opening line, if you can believe it. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Thursday. Terrifying Thursday. Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of off-brand TED Talks. And also a very special night for several reasons. First and foremost, for all intents and purposes, but not for any legal meaning, it's my birthday. So for those of you that have already said happy birthday, thank you so much. For those of you that haven't, I'll just assume that you have in your minds right now, just, because you're nice people like that. Secondly, a very nice and totally unexpected birthday gift, as it were. I just hit 7,000 subscribers on my channel. So for those of you that might be new here or relatively new here, thank you so much. And for those of you that have been here the whole time, well, you're the foundation on which this was all built in the first place. So thank you so much. I think it was an influx of, I think I have Dave's Lemonade to thank for some of it, because I've been getting a lot of people coming and commenting on my third of my true crime trilogy saying that Dave sent them. So on the off chance that anybody here has a direct line to Dave, or if Dave is somehow here himself, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that very much. And thanks to everyone again for joining me on this adventure, one way or the other. Thank you, Mike R. Congrats on almost 7K subs and happy birthday. Well, it's not an almost anymore, Mike R. It is just at 7,000 subscribers, just a few minutes before the show started. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. But before I get into all that other hubbub, who is joining me on this adventure this evening into the wonderment of TEDx? Joshua Montgomery, hello. Kyle Mack, hello. Kiefer Dam, hello. Mike R. again, hello. Zeke Weiss, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Noah Asensio, hello. Deco, hello. Jaeger Pony, hello. Ken Elliott, hello. No Name, hello. And then we jump down because, of course, it does. Brittany Holland, hello. Elish Norn, hello. Frank Hubbard the Fourth, hello. Lexi Mads, hello. Evil One, hello. Spittlebuggies, hello. Ryan R, hello. Jack Frost 7548, hello. Bridget, hello. Shell D, hello. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, hello. Jamie Melquist, hello. Decoed. Well, thank you very much. Whoops. Let me put that window back up. Everything's good and all goofy tonight. Deco, thank you so much for the thank you, Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox. How about this one?
Wow-wee! Wow!
Oh, Dogcat Fox. Holy cats! Jaeger Pony. Damn, dude. Thank you so much. Rock on, you loquacious sesquipedalian, you. Happy birthday. I'll pretend that I know what that second word means. But damn, Jaeger Pony, thank you so very much. That's ridiculously generous of you. Thank you guys so much. I don't know what to say. I never know what to say. All I can say is that I really appreciate your generosity, all of you. And I promise in ways that I don't always advertise, this is paid forward. I don't take it for granted, and I really appreciate it. Speaking of generosity, let me make sure I get this pinned before I forget. Now I want to pin that. Did I pin? Oh, I already did pin it. Okay. I'm so efficient. I did it, and I didn't even realize it. If you'll take a look at the top of the chat box, there are some GoFundMes pinned up there for our friends Shady Grin, Angry Illinoisian, and his kitten. Their friends and loved ones could certainly use your help and generosity if you have a couple of bucks to spare, so please consider that as well. A couple more hellos, then I'll get into it. Prosaic Dreams in Blue, hello. Anthrax Allen, hello. Simon Willikins, hello. And Roger Reynolds, hello. Corn Pop, hello. And if I missed anyone, I apologize. For the lurkers out there, hello, lurkers. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Cryptic. This one time in Scribe Camp, I shoved my head into a wood chipper. Okay. I assume that was a punchline to something. I'll just take it that way. And thank you, Attack Alpaca. Happy birthday, Scribe. Picture imaginary happy birthday, Dogcat Fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
Indeed, dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox. Thank you, Attack Alpaca, very much. So, what are we in for tonight? Well, two things commended itself to me as pertains to this particular TEDx. The first, if you can't tell by up on the top of the screen there, is the title. And the title is Unlock the Gen Z Employee Inside the Mind of a Native Digital. That title sounds like it was generated by an algorithm because I don't know what it means. So that was the first thing, was the mystery of the title. Although, at least the first part of the title, I have an answer. And I'm curious to see if this answer applies itself to the actual presentation. Unlock the Gen Z employee. Well, I have a very efficient solution to that. Take away their allowance and kick them out of the house. That'll make an employee real quick. As for the rest of it, I have no idea. Native digital? I guess that's something that people use these days. I don't know. Nathaniel Taylor, hello. Zan Wild, hello. Original Shroom, hello. The other thing that sort of brought my attention to this was, now I don't usually read the description of the video, the original video, unless there's some cause for it. Like if I see that the title is a TEDx youth presentation, but I can't tell if from the thumbnail if the person speaking is a student or an administrator, maybe I'll look at the description to try to get an idea of who it is or what their role in things are, something like that. But in this case, I couldn't miss this part of the description because it was the first line that wasn't cut off by the see more thing on the YouTube thing, and it said 24-year-old expert. Now, I am not meaning to imply that you can be 24 years old and not be an expert in something. I'm not saying it's impossible. It just struck me as a very odd notion in my head, especially when it comes to things you usually speak about on a TEDx stage. But a 24-year-old expert on what? And when I read that as well, it occurred to me the little title of the movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is why the thumbnail reads as it does and is the exact same font as that film's poster. But that's all preamble to trying to find out what is meant and how to achieve unlocking the Gen Z employee inside the mind of a native digital. Tonight's bingo card is bingo card B. B as in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you want to know why that applies, you'd have to follow the poll that was on Twitter earlier today to choose the bingo card. If you'd like to take part in the poll that chooses the bingo card on a weekly basis, please follow me on Twitter. Not only for that, but for all the wit and wisdom that I otherwise might spew out into the world. Yes. So get your bingo cards ready. With that, I'm going to start off with a few seconds for a sound test as soon as I check on this. Thank you, Texas Attorney General Secret Agent. Happy birthday, Scribbles. I hope you had a good day. Cheers, mate. Thank you, Texas Attorney General Secret Agent. I don't know what Texas Attorney General Secret Agent's like tag actually means. This is just a little lore for you. That's how I decided to decode it at one point. And I think that's fun. Whenever just another side note, since I'm like sort of a milestone 7,000 subscriber night unexpectedly, I hope everybody knows, and I think you do, that when I make fun of your tag names in some way, shape, or form, it's all out of love, right? You all know that I'm just kidding around, right? Nobody takes offense, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway, speaking of not taking offense, let's talk to a Gen Zer. So this one clocks in at just over 16 minutes. She's got a lot to say, so I'll start off with a few seconds. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
It's 1 week before my wedding.
It's been 1 week since oh, wait, sorry. No. It's been 1 week before your wedding. Okay. All right, you guys hear that? 1 week before the wedding? Sounds good. Thunderbirds or go, says Jaeger Pony. Thunderbirds, go!
With a look of determination, my mother accosts me in the church hallway.
Oh, were you a drama student by any chance?
Hannah, no. You cannot possibly wear a plastic wedding band. What are people going to say?
That your husband is economically smart? I don't know. I mean, I've never understood spending a godzillion amounts of money on a wedding. I mean, sure, you want to have a nice ceremony and things, and I guess if you have a big family, maybe you have to make some kind of accommodation for people flying in and stuff. But all the same, I've never understood people spending more than you'd pay for like a house or a new car on a wedding ceremony. I went to a wedding once where the family, as far as I know, the family of the bride at least, was very well off. So they spent, I don't even know, tens and tens of thousands of dollars on this thing. And the entire time I kept thinking, why not just have a cheap wedding? And if you've got that much money to burn anyway, why not just give it to the bride and groom as a down payment on a house or something? Right. But anyway, that's just an aside. Thank you, tall person. Happy birthday, Scribe. Can't watch live. We'll watch in full later. And happy National Devil's Food Cake Day. Nothing spells lovin' like eating Satan's cake. Or something. Yeah.
They're just going to think Michael doesn't care about you.
Michael is financially smart.
Hold on a second. Let me back up.
Okay. Back it up.
You see, my engagement ring was plastic.
Uh-huh.
To my mom, it looked like a ring from a box of Cracker Jacks or an old-fashioned candy shop.
Uh-huh.
You know, the ones you can buy right beside licorice or Pop Rocks.
Uh-huh.
The truth is, Michael did care. In fact, he cared so intensely, he had painstakingly spent 4 months handcrafting the perfect ring for me in AutoCAD, then had it, along with an intricately designed box, 3D printed.
Oh my God. What a nerd.
Yep, you heard that right. My engagement ring was 3D printed.
Oh my God. Wow. Golly gee whiz. So, what?
And better yet, it cost $7.
Yeah, like I say, hey, you know, I will not fault your fiance/husband for his ingenuity and thriftiness.
When Michael proposed, it stirred up passion
Uh-huh.
for a business idea.
Okay, let's go over to the bingo card real quick because we can at least circle one of these things. Anecdote that probably never happened. She has photo evidence so far, so her one anecdote, I believe. Self-vilification or wretchedness, I'd be surprised. Systemic institutional, perhaps. Weightless example, not yet. Word salad, no. Leaves out vital context, not yet. Collectivizes his own demographic, I'm sure we'll get there. White supremacy, nope. A list, not yet. Privilege, no. Sales pitch for product or service. She might be pitching 3D printing and or AutoCAD, but we'll see how far she takes that. Plays victim, not yet. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I'm still not sure what native digital is. I'm not sure if I've ever heard that before, though I'd be surprised if she made it up all on her own, but we'll see. Wage gap. Well, she's talking about finances. We'll see. Patriarchy, no. Feminism, no. Mind reading assumes motives, not yet. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, not yet. Marginalized marginalization, not yet. Argumentative non sequitur, not yet. Childhood or family anecdote. Well, he's her husband now, so that's family. And so circling childhood or family anecdote and free space. And talking with her mom, of course. Contradicts own point or argument. Don't know what it is yet. Benevolent condescension. I have a feeling, and microaggressions, unconscious bias, not yet. So far, we have free space and childhood or family anecdote. And thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk, for the how's it going, Dog Cat Fox. Oh, Dog Cat Fox.
Wowee, wow, wow.
Oh, Dog Cat Fox. Thank you, Mr. Tickletrunk. Appreciate it. So let's see. That's where we're at. Let's see how much further we get.
What if instead of the ring simply existing as a physical representation of our commitment, it could be immortalized? Jewelers could make the ring a virtual container of memories.
Okay.
At our wedding, guests could compose secret messages that uploaded into the virtual ring and could only be accessed at our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, gimmicks. Lots of gimmicks. Thank you, Kiever Dam. I've heard Zoomers to be called digital natives. Oh, okay. I assume, and again, being the old fuddy-duddy that I am, I assume that this is referring to people who have been born into the world where the internet already existed, right? Or social media, etc., already existed, rather than people that were born before the advent of the internet and so on. That's my guess. It sounds cheaply aggrandizing to me, but I guess we'll see.
Or better yet, the AI could feed us tips to keep our marriage thriving.
If you need AI to feed you tips to keep your marriage thriving, yeah.
Kind of like a relationship coach.
Kind of like, yeah.
But none of these fascinating ideas occurred to my mom. All she knew, I had a plastic ring and Michael was a cheapskate. And she is not the only one. None of these native digital ideas have occurred to De Beers jewelers either.
Oh boy. I'm leaning towards benevolent condescension already. All you old dinosaur boomers, you don't get the immensity of opportunities and possibilities with the digital world.
Or most native analog companies around the world today.
Oh.
This is the perfect illustration of the true chasm between the native digital and native analog worlds.
I mean, those that work for a living and those that push a button for everything that they want. Now I am starting to sound like a boomer. Oh boy. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Ring that tells you to do stuff? Okay, Sauron. Yes, that's a good one. Indeed. Actually, it's so good. I'm going to try to use that more often, just because I can. Just because I can. Thank you, Frosted Glass.
The clash of values and the clash of two categories of human. The native digital and native analog.
Benevolent condescension. Also collectivize his own demographic. Circling those two, just because the way that's being presented goes hand in hand. Now, as Kiverdam pointed out, native digital is not a new phrase that she is making up herself, so she can't take credit for that, so I can't circle the board for that one.
What's native digital, you may ask? It's simply someone under the age of 30. And I'll use the terms Gen Z and native digital interchangeably.
Wow.
And a native analog is someone over age 35. And in this example, the significance of a ring varies greatly between these two generations. You've got me, a native digital.
Oh, yes. And you're so special. Can you use the Dewey Decimal System? Would you be able to operate in a world without a smartphone? This is the pitfall. This is the pitfall. The native digital, as she describes it. What would you do if the power goes out?
To me, a ring is a symbol that carries little inherent value.
If the ring is a symbol, and you see it as a symbol, it carries an inherent value. But yeah, I guess if you don't see a ring as carrying an inherent value, as a signifier of commitment and of care, then I guess you're just more advanced than the rest of us.
And it should be as inexpensive and replaceable as possible.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the okay, if you're not sentimental, sure. But when it comes to being a symbol of something, a symbol of commitment, a symbol of long lasting, etc., yeah, it might be more a selling point for the jewelers than anything else, but a diamond, yeah.
You've got my mom, a native analog. And to her, a ring represents permanence, lasting love, a hand-me-down from generation to generation.
You know, your plastic ring could mean that as well, if you decide to. What does your ring mean to you? What does it symbolize to you about your relationship?
And you have De Beers, a native analog company that's been making expensive engagement rings for decades. And if you don't spend 3 months' salary on it, you're the cheapskate.
Is this an advertisement for De Beers, or is she looking for a job from De Beers, or both? This might be a sales pitch for product or service, because I have a feeling that she's trying to pitch something to the jewelry industry.
As a native digital, physical objects mean very little.
Great. Give up your smartphone. Give up your computer. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give them up. Right? Your car, your boots, your dress, your headband. They mean so little. Why even bother having them? Right? Oh, what about makeup? Right? Oh, yeah. No, all of these things. Yeah. 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 You are not a separate species, lady.
To my mom, they're quite meaningful.
Ah.
And native analog companies like De Beers are still selling to my mom.
What is it with De Beers? Okay, I can't wait to see where this is going.
And as a result, they're becoming irrelevant in the blink of an eye.
Really? De Beers is irrelevant, you say? Oh, okay. Okay. Are you going to 3D print a diamond? Are you going to CAD gold out of the ether? Are you some kind of like cyberpunk Rumpelstiltskin or something? What?
I'm a 24-year-old Gen Z CEO advisor and the founder of Overture Academy.
Oh, okay. Sales pitch for product or service. Okay. If not for De Beers as a concept, then for herself just then. You're a CEO advisor. Wow. What was that? What was that again? Sorry, let me back up a little bit.
CEO advisor and the founder of Overture Academy.
Overture Academy. Tell me what Overture Academy does.
And for the past 3 years, I've helped leaders unlock the power of Gen Z.
The power of Gen Z. The power of, and for any of Gen Zers in the chatter audience, I apologize, but at least the attitude that she is projecting, not necessarily you, the power of overly convenienced, coddled children who think they are owed something simply for showing up. That is the attitude I keep seeing in the proudly Gen Z set. We kind of saw this with my impromptu TEDx last Friday during my migraine stream. If you didn't see that, I didn't really advertise it. It was an off-the-cuff kind of thing. But if you want to see a little mini TEDx about halfway through the migraine stream from a few days back, you can see that. But either way, okay.
By attracting, recruiting, retaining, and engaging the best and brightest native digital employees.
Uh-huh.
After graduating college at age 18 with my bachelor's in international business, I was thrust into corporate America, but quickly exited, as many Gen Zers do, to build something of my own.
Well, I will credit your spirit of entrepreneurship. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to, for lack of a better phrase, poo-poo or devalue anybody over the age of 35 as somehow being not with it or not having either the expertise, know-how, or ingenuity to make use of the world as it sits now as compared to you, who has never known a world without the internet and without other avenues of gaining information or making things work or creating things. I hope you're not writing off most of the population.
In my work with leaders across the globe, many of them ask me this very scientific question.
Okay.
Are my kids aliens?
Anecdote that probably never happened. I seriously doubt that question is asked of you from all over the world all the time. Why would they be asking you? You're 24. You're a kid. Sorry, I know. I'm being ageist.
No, but the truth is it's nearly impossible to comprehend a native digital's mindset.
You're so far beyond us. Oh my God. It's like I'm a two-dimensional being trying to comprehend a three-dimensional being. I just see a circle when really it's a sphere. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, God, you are such a walking enigma.
If you aren't one yourself.
Yeah.
And yet understanding how to market to us and employ us is critical.
Yes, we have to service you. We have to figure out how to employ you. You don't have to figure out how to get yourself a job. We have to figure out how are we going to get you to work for us because you're a digital. Because you're a digital. Oh my God. You're under 35. That alone makes you a genius.
For your business to survive.
Oh, yeah. You know what? My business will not survive without that kind of attitude. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Here's a thing you might not be aware of. There are lots of institutions operating right now that are still primarily analog. So what do you do, oh native digital, if you actually have to drive to a place to pull a record that's still on paper somewhere? What do you do then, native digital? Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Be nice. Her frontal lobe isn't done forming yet. Now, I wasn't going to say anything, but like I said, when I saw a 24-year-old expert, I was kind of like, but okay, all right.
This year, native digitals outnumbered native analogs for the first time. And by 2025, a projected 27% of all your employees will be Gen Zers.
Oh my God, do you mean to say that as one generation ages out, the next generation ages in? Oh, golly gee whiz. You still gonna have to get up to go to work? Oh, I guess no, you can do it all remotely now, huh? Gosh, and then what happens if the power goes out? Right? What if you work in a business that is not digital based? What if you have to make something or pick something up? What if the market doesn't allow for you to be a digital, but you have to, exist on the temporal plane with the rest of us?
We're at the beginning of a mass extinction event of analog companies, and here's why.
Okay, a mass extinction event of analog companies. Tell us what is going to kill De Beers. Okay, tell us what is going to kill the diamond market. Tell us how your 3D printer is going to replace diamonds and gold. Thank you, Kiefer Dam. Native digitals are now the majority. Is that the part of the native replacement theory? Oh, I don't even want to get into that garbage. That's all, man, echoes of things that were being yabbered about back in 2014, 2015. It's everything old is new again. That's all I got to say about that stuff. Ugh.
Most businesses don't understand that Gen Z is not just another generation. We're a new category of human. Do I have a aggrandizes themselves thing on here? I don't, do I? Self-vilification, no. Systemic consistency, no. I got self-vilification. I don't have self-aggrandizement. My peers grew up completely integrated with technology.
Oh.
Our digital lives are primary. Our analog lives are secondary.
Really? Do you eat food? Do you like electricity to power all of your devices? You know where most electricity comes from? You know what's necessary to get that electricity from point A to point B? You like water? You like houses? You like cars and roads? Are you sure about that, as John Cena would say?
There have never been humans 100% integrated with machines until now.
100% integrated with machines.
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
Oh, okay. Where are your bionic legs, huh? Where's your Deus Ex built-in sunglasses? The hell are you talking about? Integrated with machines? Good gravy. Really? You are not a cyborg. And there are plenty of people out there that are trying to become cyborgs by like implanting chips and all this other stuff in them, which, isn't actually healthy for you and actually brings up a whole bunch of questions about privacy and other things. For crying out loud. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Native Digitals have been assisting the corporate world for the last 10 years to get active in activism. That's been going so well so far. Yeah. Instant gratification, coddled individuals that don't know what it means to lift a finger to have to do things and get things done. If I ever have children, the amount of exposure and access that they are going to have to computers and smartphones and everything else is going to be next to nothing unless absolutely necessary. I want them to know what it's like to play outside, to build something, to write something, to go to the library and look up a book, to be able to operate on their own in the absence of the gadgets. These days, some things are unavoidable. The world changes and you have no choice but to go along to a certain extent. But I'd like to think, from all intents and purposes, that in the absence of having a gizmo at hand, I can still take care of myself and get the things done I need to get done with a pen and paper and a little bit of know-how. Right? I have pointedly not ever had a smartphone. Right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Luddite, obviously. I'm speaking to you through the power of the internet, as one of my technical colleagues would say. So, I was noodling around on IRC and AOL and ICQ back in the day. I was making simple little DOS programs back when it was all Tortoise or Turtle or whatever it was. Oregon Trail back in the olden days, right? But man, I can still move through the world without having to depend on a supercomputer in my pocket. And I think that is a skill that unfortunately is fading away as this native digital generation comes up. And I'm really, really both curious and concerned for what they're going to do if the power goes out.
We're not just being digitally transformed like our parents assume. Rather, we work, think, and play starting from an entirely different perspective.
Oh.
For this reason, I believe that if you don't have a native digital on your board of directors, your leadership team, or at least one you pay to pester you like a fly in your ear, your business won't be relevant in 15 years.
In other words, give me a job. Just because I am as old as I am. Jesus.
But you can start changing that today by getting inside the mind of a native digital.
Okay, tell me how.
To do this, we're going to follow the career journeys of two different people, Peter Analog and Sophia Digital.
Oh, interesting that you made the male the old, outdated one, and the girl the more advanced, enlightened one.
Both of these people have a similar goal: land their dream job in the car industry and make $500,000 a year.
The car industry. Okay. Which side of the car industry? Manufacturing? Finance? Sales? Repair? What? Design?
Most of us are very familiar with Peter Analog's journey. At age 18, he attends the best university he can get into for his marketing degree and leaves with $50,000 to $80,000 in student loans. He takes an internship, and after graduating, is offered an entry-level position at that company. Over time, he rises through the ranks until hopefully he reaches his career destination, then retires on his 401k. This might mean transitioning mid-career to a few different companies a couple of times, but ultimately, Peter's journey represents the latter we're all familiar with.
Yeah, hard work and effort. experience built upon experience. Yeah, the evolution of one's career, through again, dedication and hard work. Yeah, okay. And
his ultimate destination is as Senior Marketing Director for Rivian Adventure Vehicles.
Rivian. I know it's probably a made-up name, but I'm like, Rivian.
But now, let's take a look at Sophia Digital's journey, which trades the ladder for a climbing wall where you choose your own path to the top.
Okay, I'm listening.
To get into Sophia's head and understand her perspective, I want you to travel back with me to high school.
I don't know if you'd want to go back to my high school experience, because that's the time when being a nerd was not a good thing for your mental and physical health.
It's the end of the spring semester of your junior year.
Oh, over in the chat, I just spotted something interesting. Thank you, Ham and Beans. Rivian is the name of an electric car company that Ford put a ton of money into, Scribelight. Oh, I've never heard of it. So there you go. This is me being analog, because I don't know about an electric car company, I guess. And Ebony Williams, I'm back. Is that in the Terminator sense? Are you a fully integrated with machines individual then, Ebony? Shall I fear you?
What was on your mind? Were you thinking about your career?
No, I was thinking about homework, girls, and feeling small and inadequate socially. So, yeah.
Did your teacher hand out college applications just before the summer began?
No. We were expected to kind of take care of that on our own, that whole personal accountability, personal responsibility thing.
Now, in that same frame of teenage mind,
Uh-huh.
I want you to now imagine
Yes.
you're Sophia Digital, and you're staring down at that college application in your hands, standing in the lunchroom line, but you face a dilemma.
Wait, I'm holding a college application? I'm standing in line for what, food? I mean, the analog, wait, how can I be Sophia Digital if I'm so analog?
Should I go to college or not?
Well, that is not necessarily a bad question, especially these days, since colleges, more so than when I was going to college, are practically factories for ideological nutbags in most places. You would probably be better off going to a trade school. A trade. Physical work. Analog.
You see, you've explored a few universities, filled out an application or two, but your heart just isn't in it.
It also depends on your finances. How much debt you want to take on. I mean, you mentioned it with Peter Analog. That is a consideration as well, yeah.
The cost is high, and
Yes.
worse, you've watched older millennials graduate with 4-year marketing degrees and end up working as baristas.
Yeah, it does help to have a plan. It's true. Yes. It doesn't matter what generation you are. At least having a plan helps. It doesn't mean your plan will come to fruition, because that's life. But it helps. And I'll tell you what, having an MBA, it kind of opens up a lot of doors. I have an English degree. It doesn't open many doors. It's more like a doorstop. But I made the best of it as I could, and I ended up in places that had absolutely nothing to do with an English degree, because I built upon my various work experiences to get to a certain point where I'm all right. I'm not writing papers for a living or writing books, but then the English degree was kind of just a default. But hey, everybody's different, right? Oh, but wait, I'm analog. I'm so old.
Bored, you slump down in your chair and whip out your phone.
Uh-huh.
You pull up TikTok.
Yeah.
The first video happens to be Daniel Isles, who at age 22 had just purchased his 5th rental property.
Oh my God.
Your creative juices begin to flow.
Gosh, where did he get that seed money? Did his parents give that to him? Or was he just lucking out on TikTok with advertisements or something? Because the people who actually luck out on TikTok and make a career out of it are like in the 1 percentile of most people, and TikTok isn't really a career idea for most people. Or I don't know. So he's a rental property owner, is he? At 22, you said? Okay. Was his money analog? Where did I'm curious? I don't know anything about this guy. Never heard of him before. Where did his seed money come from?
The next video is Daniel Mack, who's stopping billionaires on the street and asking, "What do you do for a living?" And those same billionaires are inviting him, a nobody, into their homes.
Wow. Is he then robbing them blind for his income? So what? I would not want to go into the homes of most billionaires because I think they're weird. If I've learned nothing else from watching the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial, it is the bizarre, broken, and just completely alien expanse that is the lifestyles of the rich and famous. I don't know that that's something I would honestly want to aspire to be a member of, truth be told. Thank you, Chicago Mike. I went to community college, so I was like Jeff Winger. When I went to college, nobody had cell phones. Yeah, I went to community college for my AA, and then I transferred to a 4-year school to finish out the rest of it. I was very fortunate in that I came out of it without any real college debt because everything had been planned out and everything had been, everything was, my family and I played it smart, thankfully. And so I didn't have to worry about that too much. And that's, just the benefits of playing. That's why I went to community college first, because it was cheap. And back then it was really cheap. Really cheap. And at the time, my family got a slight, not complete, not a total, but a slight reimbursement because of the benefits that my father had earned working in the auto industry, strangely enough, for the better part of his adult life. Because he worked hard and he earned things that benefited his family in the analog world, and and here I am. I'm still functioning. I'm still doing okay. A lot of people are. What happens if we take away your cell phone? I'd be curious to know. This happened once, and I don't think Sister Scribe is going to hate me for telling this story. There was a time where Sister Scribe was living with me just after she got out of college. And she was, I wasn't charging her rent or anything, and she was just kind of, working and trying to save up some money. And one night she was kind of lamenting her financial situation. And I was just sitting in the living room, and I just said, what is your single largest expense right now, except for, like gas or something, outside of the actual necessities? And she's like, I guess my cell phone. And I said, well, how much are you paying for your cell phone every month? And remember, this is like, 15, 17 years ago now or something. And she said, like $75 a month. And I was like, well, why don't you just, give up your cell phone for a couple months and save up some money? And I remember this so clearly. She was standing in the kitchen at the stove, like cooking something or whatever. And her body went into full syntax error mode. It was like I had just suggested to a heroin addict that they just sort of quit cold turkey. Her body, she like, her eyes blinked and she was just like shaking, like, no. It's like really like a gasket blew in her brain at the very thought of not having her cell phone. So in that vein, I'd be very curious to know what would happen to our speaker if for just some reason she was deprived of her smartphone for a week, like the cheapest version of Survivor Man you've ever seen, except just like digital Survivor.
For a second, you think to yourself, gosh, there has got to be a better way to get a job. In fact, I'd rather just make YouTube videos.
What?
You dash down the road to your uncle's car shop.
What?
He spent years building his business,
Yeah.
but failed to reach his dream of showing his collection around the world. Too bad. His business was always seen as a local gig.
Oh, and there's such shame in that. There's so much to be disappointed in that. Gosh, I work really hard to build my own business, but it's really only successful locally. Am I putting a roof over my family's head? Am I putting food in their bellies? Am I able to set something aside here and there for college or for other things? Do I work an honest day's labor for an honest day's pay? You stupid analog.
You share his passion for cars. So 2 years ago, you started a YouTube channel, and you've accumulated a sizable following of 50,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow, 50,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel with your passion of cars. Why aren't you learning how to repair a car? Why aren't you taking classes in auto mechanics? Do you love cars, or you just like the idea of cars?
It started out just for fun, but you found that enthusiasts love your work.
Ah.
This year, you receive a press pass to the Amelia Island Concours d'Elegance, the most exclusive international car show, simply because of the reputation of your YouTube channel.
Oh my God. And you know, getting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube is just so easy. I mean, it is just, you don't even have to lift a finger. I tell you what, you don't have to do anything. There's no effort involved. It just happens to everybody. I just choose to do it and poof, it just appears. Do you run a YouTube channel by any chance? I'd be curious. I'd be curious to know. I mean, maybe you lucked out. Maybe you're like one of those Leafy is here types that just, hits a nerve and has this certain charisma and just takes off like a rocket. It's not impossible, but it's not common.
You have connections in the luxury car industry many could only dream of, and you're just 17.
She's only 17. Okay, so basically, with a few clicks of a mouse, you've outdone your uncle in any kind of success he could have ever had. Poor uncle, how stupid of him to have spent his entire life in a passion play of analog labor. I made a YouTube channel. Oh my God.
And what started as just a hobby has now given you the credibility you need to land a job, score brand deals, or simply continue creating content and traveling around the world as a digital nomad.
Yeah, gosh, that is such an instantaneous option. And as soon as the YouTube channel goes away or those very sort of acquaintance type connections you have in the quote unquote industry, and as soon as they find out that you actually don't know the next thing about actual cars or automobiles or manufacture or repair or anything else, what do you fall back on? What employable skills do you possess? Is that an assured career path? And exactly what career do you have? Doing what? What, just pimping out your YouTube channel? I mean, nice work if you can get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's impossible. But is that a plan? Or is that a gamble? Do you know how YouTube works? You know what the odds are that your channel is going to get 50,000 subscribers, and even then that you'll get brand deals and just traveling around the world? How much competition is there for what you're doing? Okay.
Let's step back and take a broader view of Sophia Digital's journey.
Oh, let's.
At age 16, she dual enrolls in community college to get her associate's degree out of the way.
Okay.
Why not? Her YouTube channel is what she plans to stake her career on.
I mean, again, some people have lucked out, but for those of you out there that do not know, unless you have just a firecracker of an idea, and even then, do not bet on YouTube being a career. It is such a tenuous environment for making money at best, even if you're good at it. So
she graduates with no debt, and after building a brand for herself on YouTube for 7 years,
which is totally easy and always successful,
a rapidly expanding startup, Rivian Adventure Vehicles, reaches out to her for an introduction to their CMO.
Yeah, because, you can just bank on from the from the above angels coming down, sort of like, oh, here, come to us. We will take care of you now. Thank you, Miss Jiggle Trunk. YouTube, she's so clueless, but hey, it's the generation where be famous is the most common answer to what do you want to be when you grow up. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. And Mr. Jiggle Trunk always asks, who graduates with no debt? Well, if she's only going to community college, I mean, I don't know what the prices are at community colleges these days. Back when I was doing community college, the prices that were in place back then, it was cheap. I mean, like, it was something like, and this might be an extinct setup now, but the community college I went to was something to the effect of buy 2 classes, get your third one free. And each class was like $700 or something. It was a really goofy setup. I don't know how common that is, but it was great as far as the finances of my family at the time. So it was great. And then at the same time, thankfully, the company my dad worked for gave, again, not 100%, but, a reimbursement of a certain amount that made it easier for my family to be able to send me to community college. I don't know what it's like today. I wouldn't want to have to try to navigate community colleges if those even still exist in the way that I remember them. But yeah, you can do it. It's not impossible. It's not impossible, especially if you come from a family that has the money. But she hasn't told us anything about Sophia's family life to begin with, right? Does Sophia's family have the money to send her to community college without debt? Does she have the money to just live at home and run her YouTube channel? Who's paying for the internet? Who's paying for the production of the videos? Who's paying for the software? All this stuff. I guess it's just all that ad revenue that she's getting from her 50,000 subscribers. Because, YouTube just doles out the ad revenue. And 50,000 subscribers is a really significant number these days.
Sophia struts into the meeting and makes advertising recommendations based on the research and analytics she's done on her YouTube audience.
Oh, okay. So this 17-year-old with a YouTube channel is going to march into a full-grown auto company and start schooling them on analytics and sales of something that she has only been able to operate on her own in real life for maybe the last 3 years. Okay.
At the time, Rivian happens to be hiring for a director of branding, and they invite Sophia to interview.
17-year-old YouTube channel, associate's degree from a community college. Okay. Well, how does Sophia match up against somebody who went to school and has a marketing degree?
And guess what?
Does she get the job?
Sophia is hired for her expertise.
Her expertise. She starts a YouTube channel at 16, was it? And within a year has 50,000 subscribers. Well, I mean, like I say, not impossible. But now she is hired for her expertise at marketing and branding without any other qualifications, without any other credentials. Thank you, Mr. Jiggle Trunk. Her YouTube example is less than 0.001% of channels. Yeah. For a native digital and so enlightened beyond her years, our speaker doesn't even know how to make a good example of her examples. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Was she getting donations or pledges? Yeah. Like, okay, sorry, keep going.
Suddenly, 52-year-old Peter Analog finds himself on equal footing with 23-year-old Sophia Digital.
That is 100% not true. You see, Peter Analog worked for a living. You've clicked buttons. You've sat in a room and edited videos. And while not necessarily useless skills, He has the education, the work experience, and the know-how that goes far beyond anything that Sophia Digital could hope to possess in her own lifetime. So you haven't convinced me. But here's the thing. Even if by all, let's say, financial metrics, Sophia has or is making or is positioned on equal footing as Peter, I'll tell you right now, the attitude that you, our speaker, are projecting right now, the superiority complex that you're putting over people who work for a living, went to school, worked hard, dedicated themselves to a career or an industry or whatever, that is not going to make you a popular get as things move along. And here's the thing. If Peter's company folds tomorrow, he has the work experience and the education to fall back on to become a valuable asset to any other company, conceivably, overnight. If your electric car company goes bye-bye for whatever reason, or has to downsize, what have you got? What have you got up against somebody who has a master's degree or even a BA in marketing, a YouTube channel? I'm sorry to tell you, having a YouTube channel is not the special thing it used to be. Right? And unless you've got millions of subscribers, the idea that an auto company is going to give you an executive level position because you've got 50,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel, I mean, either they are a desperate company or a stupid company. Thank you, Mr. Tickletron. Girl is only selling hope. Hope is not a strategy. Yeah, she hasn't mentioned a single pitfall. Everything's just coming up roses for Sophia because she says so.
You have two people who've ended up in radically similar places at radically different ages.
No, they are not in the same place. Peter could run rings around Sophia in the auto industry. Peter has gained, through osmosis, if nothing else, more knowledge, experience, know-how, and insight into the auto industry than Sophia could hope to have in the next 30 years just being a YouTuber. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You are underscoring, undercutting, devaluing actual hard work, dedication, and work experience for the luck of the draw. Everything that you've mentioned about Sophia's career path was chance. The chance that her YouTube channel would get 50,000 subscribers. But for the sake of the example, let's just say that that's enough. The chance that she would then be offered brand deals by companies. The chance that some auto company would take notice of her from afar and come down from heaven to offer her an executive level job right out the gate. That is not a plan. Whereas Peter went to school for a specific thing, went into the industry he wanted to be in, and worked and worked and worked his way up. Oh, yeah, he had college debt. Yeah, you pay your dues. You pay what you buy. But he is not on the same level as Sophia. And if she thinks that she is, you just might be a Gen Zer. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Like banking your whole future on your GarageBand. Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's not impossible, but it's also not likely. And you always, always, always have to have a fallback. What is Sophia's fallback in that strategy? An AA degree? Yeah. A YouTube channel? Yeah.
By taking radically different paths.
Yeah, I could go to Vegas and take the same path as Sophia did and have just about as same chances. You're not describing a plan. You're not describing a reasonable outlook for someone going into the workplace.
And Sophia doesn't even plan to stake her career on this position.
Oh, well, she sure as heck better not, because she's got nothing to fall back on. This position for which she has no credentials, no work experience of any note, and any car company, an actual automobile company would not hire a 23-year-old with no credentials to have an executive level marketing position. Are you nuts? Now, okay, if this has actually happened, if she's actually telling the story of something that actually happened with this company, all right, fine. Okay. But I believe it when I see it, not because she says so. You haven't been alive long enough to know how the world works in reality, in analog reality. Are you kidding me?
Her YouTube channel continues to make passive income.
Okay, you got 50,000 subscribers, huh? Okay, well, more likely than not, about 2/3 of that number are going to be inactive accounts or people that don't look at your stuff very often. Now, that's just the odds of things. So you're looking at maybe 15,000 subscribers who actually pay attention to your stuff. All right. So then you might get out of that how many views per video. You might get 2,500. You might get 5,000. It depends on the day. It depends on the video. If you have a dedicated audience and depending on how often you put out content. Okay. So 5,000 views on a video. Here's the thing. My G.I. Jane movie review with Ranting Monkey has, as of today, something like 103,000 views. Okay. And those are collected over the course of the last, 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years. Do you know how much money on advertisement revenue G.I. Jane review at 100,000 views has gotten me over the course of 4 or 5 years? About, and at this point it might just be at about $20. $20. So I'm just saying, if you're banking on a 50,000 subscriber YouTube channel to provide you a passive income enough so you could actually live on it, again, if you've got some kind of sponsorship deal, if you've got some kind of side gig or something where you're advertising for NordVPN or whatever, you might be able to scratch it by. I don't know, but not on by itself.
And she plans to be financially free in 15 years.
Yeah, I'm sure, if the heavenly corporate executive job that's just handed to her. Well, we're 23 to 38. What happens between those two age ranges? What is her plan elsewise? What is she going to do in between? If she's not relying on this forever, then, well, if the company knows that she's going to be a fair weather friend, why would they keep her? If they think that she's flighty, if they think that she's just going to bumblebee her way to the next sweet flower in a year because she gets bored, why would they hire her in the first place? What are your career goals as they interview her? Oh, I've got a YouTube channel and a lot of branding deals. And you're going to give me this job. So, and then, before I'm 40, I'll be, rich with $500,000. That will totally cover me for the rest of my life somehow.
Now, if you're the parent of a 16-year-old, you're probably sitting on the edge of your seat, red in the face, about to throw Rotten Tomatoes at the stage.
Why would that be?
Trust me, I hear you.
Trust you? Trust you with what? I wouldn't trust you to lead a 2-car parade.
Parents felt the same way you do now. You might also be thinking in the back of your head, well, all this is nice to say, but who's actually doing this? Who would put a 23-year-old in such a high position of influence and rank?
Yeah, that is my question. I'm sure you have a really great example to give us, right?
And my response is, the companies that recognize that over half of Gen Z wants to skip college.
Yes, laziness abounds. Thank you, Keeverdam. Mind reading, you are correct. That would be mind reading assumes motives. Thank you, Keeverdam. Got that there. Good call. Let's see. Self-vilification analysis. We're close to the end, so I'm going to, well, we're not close to the end. We have a few minutes. Let's see. Self-vilification or wretchedness? No. Systemic institutional. College institution. Yeah, I'm gonna circle that. That's even so far in aggregate. Weightless example. Her entire Sophia thing, unless she's going to give us an actual example. Like she says, who would possibly do this? Well, I'm assuming you're about to give us the actual real world example, right? So I'll wait a second on that one. Word salad. I mean, I've understood what she's said so far. Leaves out vital context. Yeah. Sophia, like the whole Sophia thing doesn't have any context for what's the fallback, what's the fail safe, what happens if she's not just handed an executive level job. White supremacy, no. A list. I guess you could consider the steps up the ladder a list, and her Sophia plan as well a list. Here are the steps. So I'll take that. Privilege, not said, although I'm feeling a lot of it being exuded here. Plays victim, not yet. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. No, she hasn't made up anything. She hasn't innovated at all here. Wage gap. Yes, between her uncle and her YouTube channel. There is a wage gap, definitely highlighted as though that proves something. Patriarchy, no. Feminism, no. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, no. Not yet, anyway. Marginalized, marginalization, no. She hasn't talked about that. Automotive. Argumentative non sequitur. Not that I've noticed so far. Contradicts own point or argument. I'm not quite sure what her argument is yet, except to say that people who go to school are stupid, I guess. I don't know. Microaggressions, unconscious bias, no. So far, just for reference, we have anecdote that probably never happened, systemic institutional, leaves out vital context, collectivizes own demographic, a list, sales pitch for product or service, free space, wage gap, mind reading assumes motives, childhood or family anecdote, and benevolent condescension. No bingo so far, but we are very close in a couple of spots, so we'll see where we go. Okay, so now, give us the actual example of a major company that hired a 23-year-old YouTuber into an executive level position in their company. Go for it.
That we possess innate digital marketing skills and that a native digital controlled world already exists.
You need to prove that. You know how you prove that in the real world? Through dedication and education. And you know what says dedication and education first and foremost to most employers? A degree. Because you see, a college degree is not just a piece of paper. It is evidence of some kind to an employer that you can dedicate yourself to a specific discipline and achieve a goal of effort, time, and study towards that discipline. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah. Anybody can set up a YouTube channel in about 5 minutes. And just because you've got some elite Photoshop skills does not mean you are a branding genius or have any idea about how economies or markets work. Just because you say you can do these things is not evidence that you can do these things. That's why credentials matter. But you want to skip that part. Keeverdam, thanks so much. Also, did you get Tier's Super Chat? Did I miss something? I'm sorry. Hold on. Mind reading? I'm sorry. It got completely by me. I'm sorry, Tier. I apologize. Thank you, Tier. College advisor, these are your dues paying years. Yeah. No kidding. She just wants to skip that. Just because she says so. Like, what are you talking about? Now, I mean, maybe she has just lucked out in making her advisory company or whatever. And maybe she's bamboozled a whole bunch of companies into thinking they need to hire her to tell them stuff. But if I've learned anything over the last several years of doing videos on DEI consultants, you can be a consultant for anything. And if you hit the nerve right at the right time with the right subject matter, you can convince anybody that you're necessary long enough to get a paycheck. But I'll tell you what, getting a paycheck for being a consultant on the fad of the week or something, that's not necessarily a credit in your favor so much as either the desperation or the, I don't know, sort of paranoid PR of the person handing you the paycheck. And I'm not sure that that is a viable long-term career plan. But hey, suckers born every minute, right?
And the ones that aren't adapting, well, Gen Z will leave them behind to become gig workers, influencers, and real estate investors.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again, Tier. Pretty woman will make it only on looks, not skill. Not necessarily. I mean, well, if you have both, then you're good to go. That's why I say you have a fallback, right? Always make sure you got a fallback. Never assume that the one thing that you're so focused on is always going to be there or that you'll even get there. Always have something as a fallback. That's why, my English degree, not the best advice. I'd advise anybody to tough it out and get at least an MBA, right? Just get an MBA. That is a skeleton key for so many places and so many possible doors opening for you that's a better option. If you're going to go to college, if you can afford it, if you can get by on it, MBA. If you don't have any idea what you're going to do elsewise, at least go for something like that. My English degree didn't really get me anywhere. The only place that got me where I got where I am now is just work, getting up every morning and going to work, doing my job and taking opportunities as they came along for advancement. That's it, But it also depends on your goals. Is your goal to be rich and famous? Is your goal to be financially secure before 40? I mean, all luck to everybody to get there. I really do wish that everybody could be in a safe place financially by 40. Or something. That'd be great if it was possible for everybody. It's not necessarily going to be the case. Don't plan on that. I had to spend 2-3 years just working, doing nothing else, saving my money because I was so paranoid that my job and any other job opportunities, the roof was going to fall in on me at any minute. And thankfully I did. I built up enough of a cushion that if the worst happened, I could subsist for a while without a job to find another job. But hey, maybe I'm just old-fashioned.
Because, well, over half of us say we want to be entrepreneurs.
Wow. I want to be a spaceman. Okay. What percentage of small businesses survive more than 10 years in this country? Now, this is a question I don't know the answer to. Okay, I don't know the answer to, what the life expectancy is of most startup businesses. All right, so is that a sure bet? Shouldn't you have some work experience behind you first to be able to know what you're doing before you start doing it?
Here are just a few examples of journeys like Sophia Digital's.
Okay.
Some of these Gen Zers have used the power of content to land dream jobs, while others have simply started their own companies instead.
Okay.
Jonathan Javier, at age 22, began posting content online in his niche. In just 1 year, he accumulated over 200,000 followers on LinkedIn to ultimately land his dream jobs at Google, Cisco, and Snap.
His dream jobs at 3 different places doing what? What?
Stephanie.
No, whoa. Gallery circle leaves out vital context. I did. Waitlist example. Even if the next 2 or whatever are on point, that first one said nothing and proved nothing. He got what? Internships at 3 different companies? He's an executive at 3 different companies? How did he get his dream job in 3 different places at the same time? That's your opening salvo, huh? Okay, what's next? Good Lord.
Sue, at age 22, became the lead director at Superposition, an organization bridging the gender gap in STEM.
Superposition. Okay. Wow, now that's a household name. Are you going to tell us anything about what that organization does or what she does in it? Or
And Caleb Williams, at age 23, founded Better Wealth. His firm has millions of assets under management. He has over 20 employees, and he's an international speaker and best-selling author.
Okay, now that's the first person you've brought up that actually sounds like, wow, that's amazing. What is his family background? What's his educational background? Is he a math whiz? Is he a savant or something? Was he raised in a financial family? What skills commended him to do this? What's his track record? I mean, I'm willing to assume, I'm willing to bet that it's true. We've had a lot of young entrepreneurs and, instant millionaires amongst the youth, let's say, but that's been the case for most of history, right? Bitcoin millionaires or hedge fund managers at 32 or whatever. Yeah, okay. So one of the three that you brought up sounds like something, but he started his own business. Where is the 23-year-old who was hired into an established company to be an executive? Where is the Sophia? There is no Sophia. And he went into finance. Okay, what's his educational background? Where's his YouTube channel?
None of these Gen Zers took the typical ladder path. Instead, they built paths of their own.
Where did your third example get his seed money? To start his business, start his investment business. Where did he get his money from? I mean, maybe he invested it. Maybe it's Bitcoin. Maybe he lucked out. I don't know. Right? I mean, if I suddenly had a whole lot of money to spend when I was 22 to make my own business, and on the chance that that business was successful, hey, I could be a success story too. Tell me, how many people in your third example's position have succeeded as compared to those who have not? What are the odds that anybody in your age bracket is just going to become a financial hedge fund manager of millions in assets? Which, truth be told, in the grand scheme of the financial world, millions is not all that much, but I don't know how many millions she's talking about. Yeah, okay, your first two examples were absolute duds. Your third example is the most interesting, but still does not pertain to your scenario of Sophia the Digital.
Now, as you can see, there is a giant chasm between the native digital and native analog perspectives to reaching the same goal. But we have to build a bridge if we're going to shift to a native digital future.
The same goal. What were their goals? You never told us what their goals were. You never told us what the guy's dream job was. You never told us. I mean, the second lady sounded like she was trying to do something that was more non-profit-y. But I don't know anything about the company you mentioned because you didn't tell us. Okay. And what's the third guy's goal? To be rich? Does he have the same amount of work experience as someone who's been in the industry for the last 30 years? How do you define success? I've had this come up. I've told this story before. I went to Thanksgiving once with a friend of mine to meet his family. I hadn't met his family before. And so we're having Thanksgiving dinner. We're sitting back. And then one of my friend's siblings, just out of the blue, starts quizzing me because they're really curious to know about me. And they're like, where do you work? And I told him where I worked. I'm in contract processing. And he says, oh, well, I have more money than you do. Or I make more money than you do. I was like, okay. And I said, well, I make enough to live on. And he says, well, I'm more successful than you are. because she was some like mid-level manager at some manufacturing company or something. And I was like, I said then, and as I say now, I guess it depends on how you define success. Every job that I've ended up in, either by plan or by fate, I've done fairly well at. And I've succeeded to the point where I've moved on to better things each time. I pay my own bills. I don't have any outstanding debt that's like crippling me or anything. I take care of myself, and I don't have to ask for anything from anybody. And knock wood that I ever have to, but hey, and I'd say that's pretty successful. Because my sights are set fairly low in life. I don't have designs on, drastic wealth or anything. Do I want to be comfortable and safe? Sure, everybody does. But, I've got, I think, a rational perspective on it. But I don't know what this lady's definition of success is. Just money, prestige, the big title before you're 30.
So if you're a business owner, a CEO, or an HR executive, and you're still using analog tactics, it's time to shift.
To hive diversity?
Let me give you some concrete examples of what one of my clients, owned by a boomer CEO, is doing to prepare his company for the native digital future.
Okay, tell us some concrete examples of what one of your CEO clients is doing to prepare for the native digital future.
Instead of hiring students out of college, this CEO
Yes.
has become the university himself.
Oh, do you mean to say that a business has on-the-job training? Or that they fund a training program to build up future employees? Wow, what an idea. I've never thought of such a thing before. I've never gone through such a thing myself ever before. It's never existed before. Wow.
He's founded an apprenticeship program that takes high-potential high schoolers, and after the 3-year program, pays them 6-figure salaries.
just like that? You just, a 3-year program and I just get a 6-figure salary off the bat? Wow. What business is this? What industry is this in? Where does this happen?
Instead of giving lip service to his young people, his head of HR is 22, and I'm on his advisory council.
Boy, you're really selling me on this. Okay, what company is this? What is their product that you give college dropouts or not even high, or just high schoolers 3 years of training and then hand them 6-figure salaries? To do what? What are you talking about? This sounds like a scam already.
And instead of hiring all full-time staff, this CEO is employing native digital gig workers who have their own businesses and add value and expertise for his clients.
So he's contracting work out in some instances, and he's paying high schoolers or early college age 6-figure salaries to do what? Okay. I understand that probably because of privacy things and confidentiality and everything, she obviously can't tell us the name of the company or that. Although I would think that if you want to get ahead in the digital age, you'd want to get the name of the company out there as much as possible to get that prime talent. But I don't know, guys. Do you think this company actually exists as she's described it? And if it does, do you think it's legit?
And as a result, he is a leader in the category data world.
The category data world? What?
So,
a needle pulling thread.
The big question, what can you do to become relevant to native digitals?
I have to become relevant to them, eh?
If you're a business owner, I have a challenge for you.
Oh, you have a challenge for me? I'm all ears.
Host a native digital focus session.
Just Okay. Native digital, as you've said, is simply an age bracket. So you want me, L business owner, to host a focus group of under 30-year-olds to do what?
Invite both your board of directors and top Gen Zers from your team.
My top Gen Zers? Why? What? Are you all a hive mind or something? What are you talking about?
Have them sit across the table, but flip the cards. Have the board of directors ask the Gen Zers their opinions on pending business decisions.
Hey, you native digital who has no college, no education, no work experience. Hey, what would you do in this business decision that I'm going to divulge to you right now? Good gravy. Thank you, Ms. Trunk. I worked for a company like that, went bankrupt month 8. Yeah, what she described there to me sounded like a Potemkin village at best. If it's not a scam, it's built on sand. And that description, I mean, call me overcautious, but if I was an investor and I was looking to put some capital into something for a return, and somebody described to me that business with those details that she handed out, that would be the last company I would go to. That does not sound like a wise business model to me. Thank you, Mr. Trunk. I'm an artist. They stiffed us 2 months' pay scheme. Yeah. I've heard similar stories from people who, boy, oh boy, this looks great. Everything's wonderful. Oh my gosh. And then everything folds overnight. You show up, the doors are locked, and you never hear from them again. Oh boy. Trucking with a tablet. Hey, scribe, a light wasn't notified. Well, see? Dang it. I mean, well, here's the thing, trucking with a tablet. Obviously, you're not aware of how just perfect a platform YouTube is to make a living and to get your message out. As our speaker has told us, YouTube, just, snap your fingers and 50,000 subs and brand deals and executive positions stuff.
You might be surprised what you learn.
Yeah, I might be surprised what I learn from an uneducated, inexperienced child. You're right, because kids say the darndest things.
If you're a leader on that next strategic project, make sure you include a native digital voice.
Why?
And if you're a parent and your kids ask you the dreaded question, Mom, Dad, can I be a YouTuber when I grow up?
And I'll say, no. And no.
Bite your tongue. Don't shut it down.
Look, I would not trade the experiences and the knowledge and the adventure that I've had and the friends I've made and the people I've met and all the things that have happened, all the good things, like people meeting their eventual spouses in our chat or us raising money for people that need it. And stuff. I wouldn't trade any of that for anything in my entire life. Okay. But YouTube is not a good plan for a career. You might luck out. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you should have something set up beforehand. Have a fallback. And this doesn't matter whether you're YouTube or anything else. Have a foundation on which you can fall back to if the roof caves in otherwise. And that usually means an education or a trade. Something basic, something analog. Because the whole world isn't digital. I don't know if our speaker knows that. I don't know if our speaker has actually had to live in the real world a moment of her life thus far.
You never know where that content could take them. And I just have to say, second-rate YouTubers make a whole lot more money than second-rate college athletes.
Really? You want to Describe for me what constitutes a second-rate YouTuber. Tell me of your expertise at the metrics of money earned by a quote-unquote second-rate YouTuber. Tell me about the chances of becoming a quote-unquote second-rate YouTuber that brings in enough money consistently and for the long term to cover the bills and insurance and house payments and everything else. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, do you? All right, whoever that was in the audience, that lady needs to do voiceover work for like witch laughs and things. That was great.
So, after being inside the mind of a native digital and
it is a nightmare of a land, I got to tell you.
gaining a glimpse of what it's like to see from our perspective,
It's sort of like glimpsing into the abyss of opening up the Necronomicon. Your sanity just goes bye-bye.
what will change about the way you do business, the way you parent, the way you lead?
The way did you say lead or weed?
For my mom, she chose to recognize that a ring didn't matter all that much. What mattered more is that she loved her daughter and son-in-law, and that meant embracing a new perspective.
Uh-huh.
But it also meant I had to recognize the meaning that this physical object had for her.
What's on your finger right now? I mean, and just follow my mouse here. What is that? Is that ring, or is that a better ring? What is that?
And so, I'll have you know, I did upgrade my ring from
Did you go from plastic to cubic zirconium?
my mom. It's now silver and costs $40.
Oh, okay.
And until De Beers uses my idea for a virtual ring,
They're never going to do that.
I'll stick with this one.
Pomposity. There's a word for you. Pomposity. All right, let's go to the bingo card and see where we are at. Okay. So I think I need to shrink the card a little bit. 1 second here. Is that better? That is better. Okay. So bingo card, bingo card, bingo card. Self-vilification or wretchedness? Nope. She is the smartest person in the world. Word salad? I never found myself in my mind going, so white supremacy, no, she never brought up race. Privilege, she exuded privilege. Exuded. So even if the subject itself did not come up, she embodied it in so many ways. Plays victim, no, she had an answer for everything. And there was never an obstacle that appeared versus she had to overcome. So attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. Nothing she said was her design or her invention. So no. Patriarchy, no. Feminism, no. I mean, the closest you could come to feminism is when she mentioned that second example of her success stories where they were working in bringing girls into STEM. But I don't know. Is that enough to count? I might need an argument on that one. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Bringing your best performing Gen Zers and be sure to add one of these people to your board of directors and on and on and on, that kind of thing. Marginalization. I mean, she was kind of marginalizing anybody that wasn't under 30. Wasn't she? Is that too much of a stretch? I don't know. You tell me. Argumentative non sequitur. The Ring. I mean, there was no payoff. I don't understand. Like, what did that have to do with anything that she was talking about? She had to change her perspective. Like, what, he's a cheapskate? Well, was that it? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'll leave that one for argumentation. Contradicts own point or argument. The absence of any acknowledgement of the risks involved in her purported plan, that is a passive contradiction for her whole argument. That there's no risks involved, that there's no hardships to encounter, that everything's just going to come up aces because you start a YouTube channel or something. That is an inherent contradiction. The lack of acknowledging reality. And lastly, microaggressions, unconscious bias. If I was, now this is the last square before a bingo, so I'm kind of cagey on this one. If I were very generous to myself, I would say that she was talking about at length trying to convince the audience to overcome their unconscious bias against youth culture and, the digitally savvy or digital natives or whatever. I don't think I'm too off the mark in saying that. And so consequently, if I could find the right button.
Bingo. What?
Of course!
Our first bingo, perhaps not our last, because now it goes to you guys. If you have arguments for squares yet to be circled, please put them in the chat now. Tagging me in your comment will make it a little easier for me to see it. And if I miss your argument for whatever reason, please just restate it and not say you missed my argument. Ebony Williams. Oh, you're talking to Lexi. She said her husband gave her a 3D printed ring, right? That's not so bad. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with sentiment over dollar amount, right? Because ultimately it's like, well, do I love this person? Do I need an expensive ring for them to prove their love to me? If that is really my mindset, then I might be a gold digger. Might be. Let's see. Dylan Farnham. Also, you missed my argument. Oh, well. Sucks to be you then, I guess. Let's see. Keeverdam. Read my argument. I can't wait for Ranting Monkey to pop up and do that again. That's funny. Read my argument, damn it. Let's see. Alucard says, that's a stretch. Is it? Was I really doing a Mr. Fantastic there? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's my show, dang it. Bridget. Argumentative non sequitur for the second-rate college athletes. It blindsided me. Oh. Well, that's true. A second-rate college athlete makes less than a second-rate YouTuber. That was kind of out of nowhere, wasn't it? That was also kind of mean-spirited, those stupid college athletes. Reaching for their dreams. Stupid analog, working in meat space to do meat space things with their meat space bodies. Those stupid heads. I'll have you know.
Give me a
Bingo.
Vasily. One
Bingo.
only, please.
Right?
Yeah!
Bingo number 2. But not a number 2 bingo, if you get my meaning. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway. Let's see. Arc 210. She was marginalizing boomers, Scribe. I agree. I mean, I was kind of, if you want, but yeah, she was saying boomers are like so old. The analog is so out. It's interesting to see a speaker do the marginalizing for once. I don't know that happens that often. I don't think that that's regular. So yeah, there you go. Bridget, she makes me upset to be Gen Z. Do you know how hard it was for someone I know who is highly credentialed and highly experienced and has no college degree to find a job? It took him 2 years. Yeah, it's still a crapshoot. And here's the thing, there's no guarantees, right? I mean, you could have, like you say, a college degree, a master's degree, and things just don't line up. And then you've got some moron on TikTok that gets brand deals because they do silly videos about shoes. You know, there's no for sure line of success. But there is certainly a for sure line of not success, and that is not having something to fall back on, not having either a discipline or a degree or a trade to fall back on, some kind of skill that is useful in multiple instances and across different places, or some knowledge base, because what she described there is the 1 in a million hit the jackpot kind of scenario. Thank you, Ebony Williams, for the dancing, lovely dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, dog cat fox. Thank you, Ebony. It's very generous of you. Let's see. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? Lexi Mads, you know what's funny? Gen Zers are all going analog because it's super mega quirky and hipster now. Yeah, everything old is new again, remember? Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Happy birthday, Scribble D Bibbles. Thank you very much, Mr. Tickle Trunk. You are, as always, very generous. It was neat seeing you on Pop Culture Minefield not too long ago. I've seen you in other places, too. You get around. You're quite digitally promiscuous in that way. Ebony Williams, I've been waiting weeks to give you that. You've been planning. Waiting. You wait. Yeah. Joshua Montgomery, was that Sin's voice? Yes, it was. Yes, I have quite the celebrity cavalcade of dog cat foxes so far. I still mean to get one from Inhuman Form and Matt Orchard. I should have bugged them about that when they were on here. I still need to get one from Ranting Monkey. I still need to. Do I have one from? Hold on. Did I get one from him? I got Tailed Feature. I got Kiever Dam, P-Dog Knight, Weebo. I got Irate Alex, Sinatra Drunkle. Oh, I do have a monkey. I forgot I have a monkey. That's that's my bad.
Wowie, wow.
That's the monkey one. Kurt Metzger. Oh yeah, I never did ask Kurt either. Gosh, so many people I need to bug to give me a 3-second soundbite, just for the fun of it. If they would humor me. I'll have to do another round of requests to people and see what I can get. Let's see. Zeke Weiss, I don't think there's any other circles really left to circle for this talk, except for I did do a WTF, which means I have to circle the whole card. And see, I reminded myself this time. It wasn't somebody else. I did it all by myself. It's shake and bake, and I helped. But there you go. Resolute Germ, is it your birthday again, Scribe? Yep, the sun has gone around one more time, and it is, technically speaking, my birthday. So there you go. And Mr. Chung, I love that monkey sounds like a speak and spell. Yeah, isn't it so? Yeah, Mr. Golden-throated voice there, and he gives me like, wowie, wow. Okay. With that, everybody, I think I'm going to call it there, unless you've got any other squares to be circled. Now, wait a second, but I have a couple of notes. First and foremost, my plans to visit family this weekend have fallen through. My father has come down with the flu, not the big bad thing, but just the flu, and consequently he doesn't feel up to having a visit. So that's fallen through. So as a consequence of that, I will be doing the Sunday stream at its usual time at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I'll go over part 2 of my look at, what was it? The spaces, designing for justice, space justice, restorative justice, and the design of intentional physical spaces, where I'm still waiting to hear from my hero, Deanna Van Buren, such as it is. Thank you, Kiefer Dam. Circle the whole card. I did it. I did the thing. Also, something I forgot to do last time that I said I would do, but I obviously forgot to do it, is some shout outs. I want to shout out some channels that if you don't know about, you should check out because I think they're cool. First off, go check out Defunct Land, DEFUNCTLAND. Mini documentaries about either extinct, weird, or failed theme park attractions, amongst other things. They're amazing, and the amount of information and weird trivia you get out of it is great. The productions are awesome. Just check it out if you don't know about it. Defunct Land. Next, Atrocity Guide. 2 words, Atrocity Guide. Again, documentaries about strange and esoteric subjects. Very interesting stuff, some very morbid stuff, some very bizarre things, but all very good. And in a completely different area of things, for you animal lovers out there, check out The Girl with the Dogs. They are dog grooming videos, and they are relatively brief, and they're always cute, and the dogs and the cats and things are always fun to watch as a sort of distraction, an aside, to give you a little smile. So there you go. A couple of documentary channels and a pet grooming channel that is entertaining. There you are. And if you go to them, not that they have any idea who I am, but, you could always say, hey, Scribelight sent me, and who knows, maybe they'll say thanks and I'll get an interview out of it or something. Trying to build towards that 50,000 subscriber mark so I can live like a king forever. But thank you, everybody, again, for the 7,000 subscribers. A very nice birthday present. Didn't see it coming. I pay attention to my subscriber count not that much. So when somebody on Twitter today said, hey, you're almost at 7,000, I'm like, I am? Oh my gosh. Thanks to Dave's Lemonade for sending so many new viewers to my true crime stuff over. Thank you to everybody who donated tonight, either to myself or to the GoFundMes at the top of the chat box. Your generosity is very much appreciated. And as always, I will do my best to pay it forward. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. And again, everybody, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much for the donations. Thank you for your participation, your argumentation, and your attendance. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday for the Sunday stream. Again, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And everybody, have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.